Welcome to another episode of the Positively Insane Podcast with your host and spirit guide, Kevin Alexander.
What's up? Dropping another episode. I drop episode that reminds me. I still watch a lot of porn, but I used to watch a shitload of porn. There's a difference between watching a lot of porn and watching a fucking shitload of porn. And there's this guy, I don't remember his name, I don't even give a fuck, but it's like every scene he did when he's about to bust a nut on the girl's face, like he would sit there and like scream, dropping loads at the top of his fucking lungs. Like I don't know how these. I respect porn stars so fucking much. Like that, they provide a public service. And you know, I take that to my heart. You know, there's a little cozy room in my heart that that's for porn stars, especially the girls. The guys, I don't give a shit. To be honest, I give no shits about the guys in porn. The girls, I secretly love all of them just a little bit, you know, because they provide a service, man. They provide a service to us lonely dudes out here, and they gotta deal with a lot of fucking creeps, not just you know, outside of work, but they gotta sit there and let a dude shoot his cum all over her face while he's screaming, dropping loads. It's like, what the, and they gotta do it with a straight face and act like they like it. Oh man, for the most part, I'm not a fan of quote unquote professional porn. For the most part, I like that amateur shit. Or you know, I also got a secret passion for that hentai. You know, you get me some anime porn, especially some of that futanari shit, chicks with dicks. Oh fuck, you know, I'm gonna have the whole trans community flaming my podcast if they ever hear this, but I don't give a fuck. That's what I like. I like that shit. You know, some people like tentacle porn. I like the futanari shit. I like she-males. I don't give a fuck. You know? I forgot where I was going. Oh yeah, anyway, so this dude's dropping loads on bitches' faces, and basically my point was I'm dropping episodes. That was a really fucking retarded story to tell. I didn't have a topic in mind for this episode. I wasn't even going to do one today, you know, because I had to go in and catch an extra shift at work because motherfuckers are just quitting left and right. And so I worked all day, came home. All I want to do is kick off my shoes, maybe masturbate, you know, watch some Joe Rogan Experience. But no, the first thing I get when I check my fucking Facebook notifications is Phil Kellogg all up on my dick demanding another episode because he's been waiting all fucking week. It's like, motherfucker, you're probably one of the only people that listen to my podcast, but I don't do this for you, boy. I don't do this shit for you. I do this shit for me. I kind of do it for you too because I'm fucking doing it right now. But yeah, so I don't really have anything in mind for this episode, so I guess I'm just gonna tell that story that I keep telling everybody I'm gonna tell about the time I got caught shoplifting while I was staying at the Salvation Army. This is a couple years ago. So I was homeless as fuck, staying at the Salvation Army homeless shelter in St. Cloud, Minnesota. And in total, I was there for about 3 months. And I had to share a room with 3 other men, one of which was like this super big fat guy in his 60s. And he was fucking gross as shit. God, he was fucking gross. You know, he never washed his laundry. Oh my God, I'm getting fucking notifications. I'm working here, guys. Fucking stop trying to talk to me. Motherfucker, let me turn my internet off. Sorry about that. I don't know if you can hear that shit or not, but that's rude. That's rude. I should have my internet off. So I ain't getting these notifications. I don't even know if I'm still recording now. Fucking Facebook popped up. Alright, I guess I am. So anyway, this guy was hella gross. Like, he had the worst snoring problem of anybody I've ever heard in my entire fucking life. Like, every night, all night long, the dude sounded like a dying fucking moose. Like, I can't even properly recreate the sounds that he would make, but he sounded like he was fucking dying every night. And like, his breathing was all fucked. There would be a long period where you wouldn't hear any, like almost a minute, you'd hear no, like, his breath would just get caught somewhere inside of his gross body, and then finally it would force its way out with this weird sound where it's like, I'm trying to think of a good way to describe it. Like, almost like explosive diarrhea, but with more flappy sounds, you know, because this dude had some big old jowls, you know, and I don't. So the dude, I don't know how he survived every fucking night. I thought I was gonna wake up, the dude would be fucking dead the next day, but no, he managed to survive. And a lot of the people that were at the Salvation Army, they would come and go. Like, they'd only stay there for a week or 2 weeks. They'd either get kicked out or they'd figure something out and they'd move on. This guy stayed there for the whole entire 3 months I was there, and he had the bed right next to mine. And this was a refurbished hotel, so it used to be like a Super 8 hotel that they had turned into a homeless shelter. So these rooms weren't very big. Literally, like, I live in a studio apartment right now, and my apartment is literally, it's a tiny bit, maybe a few square feet bigger than the room I was sharing with 3 other men, and we all had to share a tiny ass bathroom. And this motherfucker would sleep naked, and he would roll over in his fucking big ass fucking hairy butt cheeks, fucking just chilling right there, feet from me, just a couple fucking feet from me. And I was so I saw this old dude's balls, man, and like it was horrible. And I'm spending, you know, a good portion of the year in this room with this fucking pig, and he was so gross. Like, he would shit himself or piss himself. I don't fucking know. You know, I didn't have the gall to ask him, what the fuck is wrong with you? But what he would do is, like, he would take his underwear, and me and another one of our roommates, like, we were trying to figure it out. We think he was washing his underwear in the toilet, because we would hear toilet water or splashing, right? We would hear splashing in the bathroom. There was no sink in the bathroom. This was like a hotel, so the sink was outside of the bathroom door. There was a sink and a mirror, and then there was a bathroom door literally with just a toilet and a bathtub. And it was like a closet with a toilet and a bathtub, basically. So, for 100% fact, he was not using a sink. And he would say he was in there taking a bath, right? Because my roommate, he was a big enough ass to ask him, dude, what the fuck are you doing in there? What's all that splashing around going on? And he's like, well, I was in there taking a bath. And he'd come out of the bathroom, and there's the bathtub was bone dry, and there's no sink in there, and the bathtub was bone fucking dry. So he had to have been using the toilet, right? And he's got his fucking big ass granny panties you know, these big ass fucking tidy whities, just wet as fuck, hanging over the shower curtain rod. And this shit is clearly, he has shit himself more than once. And I don't know how many pairs of underwear this motherfucker owned, but I'm gonna say one. Well, just one. I'm gonna say just one. And sometimes he would just leave them laying on the fucking floor in the bathroom. And I wanted to fucking kill this guy on the daily. He was so gross. And so I'm sharing this room with these 3 other people, one of which is a fucking pig. And you know, I'm here for like a couple of, like 2-3 months, 3 months. And you know, sometimes you just want to jack off, right? Sometimes you just want to fucking jack off, and you can't do it comfortably with 3 other motherfuckers in the room. You know, you just can't. And I'm sitting in the bathroom one day, and I'm trying to have a wank, you know, and in my mind, I'm just not into it. I'm just not that into it. I'm like, this is fucking retarded. And so I'm thinking, you know what? I got $25. I'm going to the sex shop a couple blocks away, and I'm buying a pocket pussy. I don't give a fuck. I'm getting my nut, you know? I'm getting my fucking nut. And so that's what I do. I go to the fucking sex shop a couple blocks down the street. I go in there, I find one for $20, and I'm like, all right, I'm buying this. And so I buy it, and I'm walking back, and I realize, oh shit, you know, this is a pretty decent sized package. I can't just go walking in there with this. I can't hide this, you know, on my person without it being noticeable. And they were very strict about what you take in and out, or we couldn't have food in our room. You know, if you got caught with food in your room like 3 times, they kicked you the fuck out. And so I didn't want them to be like, oh, what's in your bag? Do you have fucking food in your bag? And then they look at it and it's a fucking pocket pussy. So I open the fucking the package, you know, I tear the whole fucking plastic open, and I pull the pocket pussy out of there, and I throw the garbage, you know, the package in the garbage, and I fucking put the pocket pussy in my hoodie pocket. Perfect, right? You know, it's perfectly concealed. I don't have to worry about anybody, you know, asking questions or anything like that. And they did random pat downs, but it wasn't very often, and you had to do like a breathalyzer every night because they allowed no drink. You couldn't get drunk or any of that shit. You couldn't do drugs or any of that shit. I did a shitload of cough syrup though, because you can't test for Robitussin. You know, I got so fucked up on cough syrup. I don't know how I mean, I couldn't even walk straight. And I did end up having to take a piss test, and I passed with flying colors because I was just drinking a shit ton of Robitussin. But that's a whole different story. So anyway, I'm not too concerned about the pat down because they usually only do that when you do the breathalyzer right before lights out. And so I'm walking back, and I realize, fuck, I don't have any lube. You know, I'm not about to fucking sit here and go dry on a pocket pussy. Like, what the fuck is the point in that? So there's a grocery store literally right across the freeway from the homeless shelter. And so I was like, you know what? I know they got lube there. It's like real close to the doors, so I can just walk in there. I'm just gonna pocket some lube because I'm not spending my last $5 on fucking lube. You know, I only had $25 to begin with. I'm not spending the last $5 on lube. So I go in there, and I know exactly where it is because I've seen it. It's not that far from all of the cough syrup that I've been stealing. You know, because I sure as fuck couldn't afford that shit. You know, and I was stealing the cough syrup to get high because I was hella depressed in this bitch. And sobriety just, I should have stayed sober. It would have been so much better, but I didn't. And so anyway, I knew where the lube was. And I go in there, I make a beeline straight to the fucking lube. I grab it, I slip it right in my pocket, and I go beeline right to the fucking door. And somehow, and this is under a minute, right? You know, I go straight in. Probably takes me 15 seconds tops to get to the lube. I grab it, put it in my pocket, and it's maybe 15 seconds maximum back out the door. And somehow, during that time, the dude who was upstairs watching the cameras, like he was so fucking fast, and he must have already been watching the cameras, that specific one, because he saw me, and he fucking, I didn't see him come down, I didn't see him, he must have been running. He must have been running, because right as I'm walking out the door, he stops me, he's like, "Sir, can I have you come with me, please?" And I'm like, motherfuck, this guy caught me. And I look at him right in the face, and I'm like, "Can I just pay for it?" Because I had $5, and I was like, "Can I just pay for it?" And he's like, "No, sir, you're gonna have to come with me." And I'm like, fuck, god damn it. I got a pocket pussy in one pocket, a fucking thing of lube in the other pocket. How the fuck am I gonna explain this? What am I gonna say to this guy? And so I was like, all right, whatever. He takes me upstairs. He's talking to me, and yeah, at this point, I don't give a fuck anymore. I'll take the case. I'm gonna fucking I did some shoplifting, you know, whatever. I'm not gonna fucking fight it. It's not that big of a deal. It's a petty misdemeanor. Whoop-de-fucking-do. So he's asking me questions. I'm being super polite, and he's being super polite. And he's like, "So can I have you take out the item that you took?" And so I put the fucking bottle of lube on the desk, or on the counter, or a fucking table I'm sitting at. And he just looks at it, and I crack a joke. I don't remember what joke I cracked. And he was like, "Yeah, no, I totally get it. You know, it's kind of awkward and embarrassing. Normally I make my girlfriend buy the lube." And I laughed. We all laughed. We had a good fucking time, right? And so he's writing this thing up, and I thought maybe this guy's gonna let me off with just a warning or some shit, because we've developed a rapport. And he's like, "It's probably not that big of a deal. You're probably not gonna go to jail or any of that shit, but I do have to call the cops. They're gonna have to show up, and they're gonna have to write you a ticket." And I'm like, all right, fucking whatever. Just as long as I can get back to the Salvation Army by 10 o'clock at night, because if you don't show up at 10, if you're not in your bed at 10, when they lock the fucking doors, they give your bed to somebody else. And I'm just like, all right, whatever. Let's just do whatever we gotta do. The cop shows up, and of course, it's a female cop. And I'm just thinking, fuck. All right, she's probably at some point gonna pat me down, but maybe she won't. So I'm just sitting there thinking, please don't give me the pat down, because I really, after getting caught stealing lube, I really don't want to pull this pocket pussy out of my pocket, especially since it's not in its package anymore, you know. So nobody's gonna believe me that I just went and bought this. They're gonna see this fucking floppy ass pocket pussy, and they're immediately gonna think it's used. And then my imagination would go to a million different spots. You know, like I'm just a dude walking around with a pocket pussy in my pocket, stealing lube. Who God knows what the fuck I was doing, right? And so I talked to the officer, and everything seems fine. She doesn't really ask me a whole lot of questions about what I stole or why I stole it. And but of course, she's like, "Okay, I am gonna have to have you stand up so I can pat you down." And I'm just like, "Oh, god damn it. So I was like, "All right, guys, here's the thing. I've got something else in my pocket. I didn't steal this, but I'm just going to put it on the table so I can avoid the whole awkward pat down and you feel it, and then you have to ask me, looking me in the eye, 'What's in your pocket, sir?'" So I was just like, "Look, I got a thing in my pocket. I'm going to take it out," and I fucking put it down on a table. and it makes this weird little flopping plastic sound. And I'm just like, oh, that was inappropriate. That's what I really needed, everyone to hear this fucking basically synthetic queef. That was embarrassing. So I'm just standing there, a beat fucking red, as this female police officer is patting me down, and like she does not take her eyes off that pocket pussy. Like the whole time she's patting me down, she's staring at it. And I'm like, can we not look at this thing? Right? Can we all just pretend it's not there? Can we all just be grown-ups about this and stop making a deal out of it? And, you know, to her credit, she was very professional. She didn't laugh. But she stared at it awful hard. And so I'm just like... So finally she writes me the ticket, and she's like, you're going to have to go to court. And I'm thinking in the back of my mind, yeah, I'm probably not going to go. As I was already planning on moving out of the state. And I was just like, fuck it. I don't give a shit. I don't have a car. It's like an hour and a half bus ride to show up to court over some fucking lube. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go. Sure thing, I'll go. And then in the back of my mind, I was like, yeah, I'm going to skip out on that shit. Because who gives a fuck, right? And so she's like, all right, come with me. At this point, I'm in handcuffs, and she's going to take me down to the cruiser, where she's going to finish the paperwork and give me the shit that my copy and stuff. And so we're like halfway out the door, and I stop, and I'm like, hey guys, I hate to ask, but I'm not leaving without my pocket pussy, because I didn't go through all this for nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm not fucking leaving without the pocket pussy. And I'm fucking cuffed. And she was like, well, can you grab it? And I was like, sure, I can grab it, but I'm not walking down the stairs and getting escorted out of the store in front of all the customers in handcuffs with a pocket pussy in my hand. Someone's got to put it back in my pocket. And so she grabbed it and she put it back in my pocket. And I'm just like, this is not, for the record, this is not the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to me. This probably isn't even in the top 5 most embarrassing things to have ever happened to me. It might not even be in the top 10. I mean, I got some shitty stories to tell in future episodes. So anyway, she grabs the fucking pocket pussy off the table with her bare hand, which surprised me. So she gave no fucks, like, and she was eyeballing it that whole time when she was patting me down. I'm now that I think about it, I'm wondering if she weren't maybe a fucking freak. But anyway, so she puts it back in my pocket. She escorts me out the store. I'm sitting in the back of the cruiser. She finishes the paperwork. She's yada yada. Can't come back to this store for a year or some shit. And no trespassing. Blah blah blah. You gotta go to court on such and such date. Whatever. And so she lets me out of the cruiser, takes the handcuffs off, and I immediately walk across the parking lot to another store and stole a bottle of lube. I stole a bottle of lube from like the Target across the parking lot. I was like, I didn't do this shit for nothing. You know, I'm getting my fucking nut. So I just stole lube from another store, and I make my way back to the Salvation Army, and I do my thing, and everyone's happy. Yada fucking yada. And I never go to court for it. You know, because I was like, I only got a couple more weeks at the Sally. That's what we call the Salvation Army. I only got a couple more weeks here. My taxes are going to come through. When I get my taxes, I'm going to buy a car. And then I'm probably going to move back down to Arkansas, which never happened. But that was the plan. And so I get my car after a couple of weeks, get the fuck out of the Salvation Army, and I come back to Little Falls, and a friend of mine looks at my car, and he's like, dude, you got like fucking gasoline. I don't know, he checked my oil. He's like, dude, you got gasoline in your oil. That's not normal. Your car's about to blow up. And I'm like, what? the fuck are you talking about? I'm fixing to drive this, 15 hours down to Arkansas. And he's like, I wouldn't if I was you. This shit's not going to make it. That shit's going to blow the fuck up. You can stay at my place until you can figure out, until you can get it fixed or whatever. And so I stayed at his place for a couple of days, and then somebody fucking stole my car. And long story short, I ended up spending, I'm still here in Little Falls. And so this whole time I'm thinking, fuck, I skipped out on that court date, so I know for a fact I have a warrant out for my arrest. And I have no way of going, the 45 minutes back to St. Cloud to get it taken care of. So I just forget it. I just fuck it, I'll deal with it when I have to deal with it. And so I spent the next year, almost, I guess the next 7-8 months living with him and doing a lot of fucking drugs. And then finally, after about 7 or 8 months, I was like, dude, I gotta fucking stop. I gotta fucking stop this shit. And I gotta get clean and yada fucking yada. And so eventually I leave his place and I'm out illegally squatting in the trailer. And I talked about this on my last episode. Not the last episode, but the episode before that. Slaying the Dragon episode. About my meth. I hate to say addiction, because it's like, I don't know, but that's what it was. I did meth every day for fucking 7 or 8 months. And so anyway, you'd have to go listen to that episode to hear the whole story. But anyway, I'm illegally squatting in the trailer to get away from everybody and all these shitty influences. And my dad is giving me a ride back out there, and he happens to get pulled over because he got, his name had been around town. People knew him as a meth user, and he'd been hanging out with the bitch that everyone was buying the meth from. So they knew him, and they had been pulling him over. He didn't have a license, so they were nailing this motherfucker every time he left the house. And so they pulled him over, and I'm like 3 blocks away from where I'm currently staying, but I'm in the back seat, and I'm hoping they're just gonna let me fucking go because I was in the back seat. But no, they're gonna run my name and all that shit. And of course, they see that I've got a warrant for my arrest because I skipped court. And they're like, well, you're gonna have to come with me. And they take me to jail. I spend the night in jail, and then they transfer me back to St. Cloud to go to court. And I stayed because I was at a different jail. I was in an orange jumpsuit, and the jail that they transferred me to, everyone had blue jumpsuits. And so, and I'm shackled up. All I did was steal a bottle of lube and skip out in court, but I'm in full fucking shackles. I got chains around my ankles, my fucking arms are across the chest, and I'm shackled. I got a chain around my waist, and my wrists are handcuffed to the chain that's around my waist. So it's like I'm in full shackles, and all the other inmates at this particular jail that they escorted me to, like I said, they're all in blue jumpsuits, and I'm in a red jumpsuit, and I'm completely shackled, and nobody else is. So, they're all looking at me like I'm some crazy fucking killer type. And they were even talking about this, too, because there was a whole holding cell in the courthouse. And there's a window in the door of the holding cell, and they were looking out the window at me as, I'm trying to get paperwork done and shit like that. And the whole time, there's probably 20 guys in this tiny-ass holding cell, and it's hot as fuck in there. And they're all looking out the window like, oh, who's this crazy-ass motherfucker in the orange jumpsuit? He must have done some crazy fucking shit. Why is he in the orange jumpsuit? We don't even, I was the only one in the orange jumpsuit, and they were all losing their shit about it. And so they put me in the holding cell, and everyone, it's like when Noah parted the Red Sea, you know, but this was blue jumpsuit, so it was the blue sea, and they all just fucking backed away from me as I entered the room. They all just and I'm still in shackles, mind you, and they all just instantly start moving away from me. People get up from where they're sitting to move away from me, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on in here? And like, so that lasted about 15 seconds when everyone was like, who the fuck is this crazy guy? And then all of a sudden somebody yells out, motherfucking Milty. And now Milty was one of the many nicknames that I was given from one of my black friends, specifically during my meth use. Like, everyone who smoked meth with me knew me as Milty. It was just, I don't know where it came from, but I was motherfucking Milty. Either I was Milty or I was the Mandarin. I much preferred the Mandarin, but everyone called me Milty. Anyway, so for about 15 seconds, everyone's just thinking I'm some fucking killer. And then my friend, I won't say his name, just because he's still got some court issues going on. Anyway, he's there, and he hollers out, motherfucking Milty. And I look right at him, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing here? You're the last person I expected to see here. And so, like, at that point, everybody immediately calms down and fucking relaxes, because now they know. And he's like, what are you doing in here for? And I'm like, some stupid shit. I just skipped court. You know, I just skipped court when I was in the Salvation Army, and I sit down next to him, and he tells me, you know, like literally the 2 minutes before I walked into the holding cell, that everyone was talking about me in my orange jumpsuit, and they were all like, no, they're not gonna bring they're gonna bring some motherfucking killer down in here with us and shit like that. I thought that was hilarious. But anyway, so to get to the next part of the fucking story, I gotta go to court for this shit. And I finally wait my turn. I get called out there, and I walk up there to the table with a little microphone, and the judge asks me, I can't remember, and he's like, he's reading off the charge, shoplifting, petty misdemeanor, and he says, I can't quite read what it says on this paper here. What was the item you stole? And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I went through this super embarrassing shit when I got caught. Here I am, like almost a year later, back here dealing with the fucking skipping out on the court shit. You know, I just want to get this over and done with. And this fucking judge is looking me dead in the eye and asking me to tell him what I stole. And I'm just like, come on, man. Does it matter? At this point in the game, does it matter? And I was like, are you serious? I said that. I was like, are you serious? It doesn't say. And he's like, well, it says, but I can't quite read it. This dude was fucking with me. And at that point, I was like, fuck it, I don't give a shit. There's lawyers here. There's a stenographer in the corner writing all this shit down on her little fucking stenographer typewriter. There's cops in here, and there's probably fucking 15, 20 people all sitting in chairs waiting for their time in court. And I'm like, so all together, there's like 50 people in this courtroom. And so I just made the mental decision to not give a fuck. And I was like, I stole a bottle of lubrication from the store. And he's like, yeah, that's what the paper says. And so that's how I knew he was fucking with me. He just wanted me to say it. And apparently the police officer who had, you know, showed up and given me my ticket and all this shit, she wrote in detail everything that had happened, including the pocket pussy and all this shit. And so this judge, like, he's just getting a kick out of this, right? And he asked me, his next question is, so what was the lube for? And I just look at him like, dude, come on. Where's the professionalism here? And so I just crack a big fucking smile. And I was like, it was for the pocket pussy that I had purchased right before I stole the lubrication. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's what it says here. And I'm just like, you fucking asshole. You fucking asshole. Why are you making me rehash this shit in court in front of all these people? And so he keeps asking me questions, and I'm like, whatever. I give him the detailed story, pretty much exactly what I just told you guys. And now, somehow, during this time frame, like, one of the police officers or somebody who had communication with the guards by the holding cell, this story, as I'm telling it, trickles out of the courtroom and into the holding cell, with these 20 dudes who a half hour ago thought I was a serial killer, and now they're all hearing my pocket pussy story. And so now that I'm done talking to the judge, I now have to go back into this holding cell, because I still have to get transferred back to the other jail before I can get released. You know, I'm still gonna be in chains for a few more hours yet, all because I stole a $5 bottle of fucking lube. You know, and I wanted to tell the judge that as soon as the cop let me go, I still went and stole another bottle of lube, because I was getting my nut that day. I was getting it, and I fucking got it. But Jesus Christ, was this a lot to fucking pay for? You know, I got my nut, but there were some fucking consequences, right? So now I have to go back into this holding cell. Like, literally, a half hour ago, these people all thought I was a hard ass. And now they know. Now they know that I just got busted stealing some fucking lubrication, and I had a pocket pussy in my pocket. And fucking, they, like, as soon as they put me back in there, it was like a riot. It was like a riot. Like we're at the best comedy show in the world, and fucking say, like, Chris Rock is on stage, or Dave Chappelle is on stage, and these motherfuckers are just roasting me. Some of these people are in here for some serious shit, and they're gonna be in jail for a long fucking time. And it's like, instead of taking that shit serious, instead of taking your fucking meth charge, serious, and looking at this 15 year sentence that you're gonna have to do serious, no, you're gonna fucking sit here and make fun of me for stealing some fucking lube. And it was like, Jesus Christ. So this was a 3-tiered embarrassment. You know, at first I had to get caught. I had to fucking deal with that. You know, getting the pat down, pulling the pocket pussy out. Second, I had to fucking rehash this shit with the fucking judge. And then third, because people can't keep their fucking mouth shut, now I'm back in this fucking holding cell with 20 other motherfuckers, you know, roasting my ass for this shit. And it's like, come on, like, literally, I had to sit there for fucking another hour. And, like, every couple of minutes, somebody had to bring it back to that. They would all stop talking about it and pretend like, hey, you know, we're just gonna fucking talk about our own shit now. But no, fucking every couple of minutes, they gotta bring that shit back. And it's like, Jesus, fuck, dude. So, fucking, finally, I get out of there. And they fucking take me back to the other fucking jail across town. I get released, and now I'm fucking 45 minutes away from home, and I got no way to get home, because my dad won't come pick me up, nobody else is coming to pick me up, and I'm sitting here seriously thinking, I gotta walk, like, this is like a 40-mile trek, you know, I might get there by tomorrow sometime, and this was October maybe, so it wasn't too cold. This wasn't warm by any means, but I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna have to walk. I already had holes in my shoes because I didn't have a job. I wasn't working at this time, you know. I still had a lot of depression and anxiety, and I had only just recently gotten clean. I had only just recently kicked meth, you know, and that took some time. And even after I kicked the meth, I still didn't get a job for a while because I had severe depression. You know, analyzing the last 7 years of my life and all the fucking spirals I've gone down and all this bullshit. So like I had holes in my shoes, and I'm thinking, fuck, this is gonna suck. This is gonna fucking suck. But there was a minor positive in this thing. Like, when I had gotten arrested and I spent the night in the Little Falls jail, and we got like, there was 3 of us that got transferred to St. Cloud the next morning. One of the guys that got transferred with me was like this 18-year-old kid, and he kept talking the whole car ride to St. Cloud. Like, he just kept talking and running his mouth, to the officer driving. And I was like, this fucking kid, he's a piece of shit. I just want to tell him to shut the fuck up. I'm not in a good mood. You know, I don't want to have a conversation with you. Don't even fucking look at me. You're not taking this shit seriously. I don't know what you got arrested for, but you got arrested. It's not a fucking joke. Stop joking around. I just wanted to fucking punch him in the face, right? Well, he ends up getting transferred to the same jail as me, and he goes to court, and fucking he gets released right around the same time. And when I got released, I went to the nearest McDonald's to use their Wi-Fi signal because I had no fucking minutes on my phone. And so this dude, he like just shows up at the McDonald's, and he's like, "Hey, what's up?" And I look at him, I'm like, "Hey, yeah, whatever, what's up? I'm just trying to fucking find a ride back to town." And he's like, "Oh yeah, man, no, that sucks." And we talked for like 10 minutes, and he's like, "Well, my ride's here, man. Take it easy." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm gonna get back home." And he goes out. Apparently talks to his friend, comes back in, he's like, "Hey, you want a ride?" I'm like, "Are you fucking serious? Like, I've been a dick to you this whole time." And so I got a ride back, and long story short, that kid, and like I got a ride home, and I didn't see him, like I had never planned on talking to him again. But on the ride back, like they had weed in the car, we all blazed up and shit like that, and they dropped me off. And I was like, "Hey, that's cool, I got to ride home." Fucking like 6 months later, he ends up working at the gas station that my brother works at. We get to talking, and he's literally my weed guy now. Right? And he's got the best fucking weed in the world. Every fucking time I get some weed from this dude, it's always some different shit, and it fucking puts me on my ass every time. So it's like, there's a silver lining, I guess, to every story. Weird ass way to meet your weed guy. But yeah, man, so that's that story. Yeah, I got a couple minutes left. I think I'm gonna do that fucking masturbatory fucking self-promotion. Basically, if you like the podcast, if I make you laugh, or you know, if you can relate in any way whatsoever, fucking do me a favor. You know, hit that like button, maybe even hit that share button. Fucking help spread the word. Go to my Positively Insane podcast page on Facebook. You can just search it, Positively Insane Podcast. Like and follow me there. That's the first place all my new episodes will be. Any updates that I make are going to be there. You can follow me on Twitter, Positively IPC. You can follow me on YouTube, Positively Insane Podcast. You can email me, positivelyinsanepodcast@gmail.com. But yeah, mostly I'm just trying to increase my audience, man. So if you like what you hear, keep listening. I'm gonna do my best to get more episodes up in shorter amount of time. I'm trying to do 2 to 3 a week, but I'll make sure I get at least 1 every week. But help me out, man. You know, hit those like buttons. Share the episodes that you thought were funny or that you were able to relate to. Fucking, you know, do it up. Follow me. Subscribe to me on YouTube. That'll help. Follow me on Facebook. That'll help. Follow me on Twitter. Fucking whatever one you use the most. Do it up. If you happen to have Spreaker downloaded, the podcast app Spreaker, where you can listen to hundreds of thousands of podcasts for free, you can subscribe to me on there. That's the app I use to make my podcast. But yeah, that's that. Stay tuned. I'll be doing a live broadcast this Saturday, So I guess technically today, it'll be Saturday morning when I drop this. It's like September fucking 14th. I don't know. Anyway, I'm out of time, guys. Have a good one.